I'd rather watch a couple of big ladies punch each other in the head over and over.
That I'm a fan of.
Man,
Yeah.
I love that. I bet I want to make sure everybody knows it. I bet on the greatest UFC upset of all time and won an enormous amount of money. It paid 7-1, and I bet.
Weren't there like a bunch of Patreons hanging out and they all made the same bet? I mean, how close am I?
So, yeah. So I was in the $50 Patreon and we were watching the fights together, and like maybe 10 of us or something. And I think Dirty had jumped in and he had bet on Pena with me for like $5. And then Fish had a big parlay bet going with a bunch of stuff that may have included her. He won $600. I won $140, and Dirty won $40 or something like that, roughly. So it wasn't crazy, but it was because, I don't know, watching that fight, we were all cheering and screaming. It was just like, killer, yes. I was just screaming, 1-2, 1-2, because she kept feeding her that 1-2 just over and over. And then it was just jab, and Amanda ate every fucking one of them. We're talking about the Amanda Nunes fight. It was so good.
So Amanda Nunes, if I recall, did she win the first round or just the beginning of the first round? She started out great, and then the line is she got tired. Now she got tired because she was getting punched in the face and in the body. That's what exhausted her.
So I got a lot of thoughts on the fight. So the first round was interesting in that Nunes was Nunes, but what was different was when she hit Pena didn't seem to care too much. It's almost like Pena's got a husband that's free with his hands or something, and she's
That's a viable theory.
She's like, this is oh yeah, what? No tuna casserole? Bring it again, Amanda. Like, I've had this before. She could take it, even those calf kicks from Amanda. Like, she ate one of those, and it was a bad one. And I was like, oh, because Amanda's got this whole like recipe book of pain that she can put on you. She could beat you however she wants. It's seemingly she could throw you on the ground all night like she did a few fights ago. She could do you like she did Duran to me. Like, yeah, she can do whatever she wants.
Who's the giant Cyborg? When Nunes beat Cyborg, I was like, my God, Cyborg. It doesn't just look like a man. She looks like a jacked man. She has a body that most listeners and me probably would wish we had.
Yeah.
And
it's included.
Yeah. I mean, obviously. So, and when Nunes beat her, it was like, holy smokes. This woman was, I think she'd been caught for steroids twice, right? Mm-hmm. So this woman is an enhanced, crazy. It's basically beating a dude. And Nunes cemented herself as the greatest ever.
Yeah, Nunes smoked her. Yeah. It, like, beat her down. It wasn't a fluke punch. It wasn't one punch, because it takes more than one to put Cyborg down. It was like a movie scene where the bad guy has to be hacked down to size. Where, like, there's no way to one shot knock out this guy. You've got to like take his ankles and then his knees, and that's how Cyborg was. She was just getting like the more she got, it was beautiful.
Every Cyborg fight looked like she was bullying an opponent who didn't belong in the octagon until Nunes got in there. And even she was like, it seemed overmatched until she won.
I was really surprised that Pena won. I did have an inkling. That's why I placed the bet. I thought it was the best shot anybody had in a long time, because Pena's big and she is a good wrestler. And I heard her speak. I watched her on the UFC Fox live show on YouTube. It was a good show. I think I texted you when I was watching it. It had Gaethje, Cormier, a couple of random people that I don't know, like talking heads or whatever. But then it had Pena. Pena came on and spoke, and she just seemed so confident and it didn't seem fake. It seemed like she legitimately had like worked it into her head that she was going to beat up Amanda Nunes, and that, I don't know, that impressed something upon me. So I hopped on my poker website and placed that bet. That was one of the better fights I've seen in a while. I think because I put money on it, that always makes everything better. But it was a good night of fights.
I love it when fighters are confident. Like, half the time there's a fight, I have a feeling that one guy is going, look, I know I'm the underdog, but there's no quitting me, and I'm going to give this my best. When both fighters are like, it is absurd to think I won't win this. What? Why would you think that guy can hang with me? I love that. I love, like, well, we're going to fucking figure it out. Let's see. Let's go. And Pena had that. I like that's a joke. Remember, of course, you don't remember. It was even before my time. Joe Namath, football player for the Jets in like the 70s. They were a big underdog, and everyone was in. He's the guy that guaranteed they'd win the Super Bowl. And the reporters were asking him all these questions as if he was going to lose. And he was like, what? His coaches and his assistant coaches and his teammates were all so sure they were going to win. He's like, what are you guys talking about? Like, we're obviously going to win. I guarantee it. And everyone was like, how can you guarantee you'll win the Super Bowl? And then he did. And I think that's cool when fighters are just like, it is crazy to think that other guy might win.
It's great. The rematch odds are like over 4-1 in Amanda's favor for the rematch. I'm sure they'll run it back pretty quick. I mean, Amanda got beaten up. I do think Amanda ran out of gas, though. I saw Joe Rogan. I think Joe Rogan said that was inexcusable. It is ridiculous for your champ to be out of gas midway through round 2.
Second. Yeah. Maybe I'm too much of a softie. I struggle with it. It's like, dude, have you ever fought for 7 minutes? It's exhausting. Everyone, Conor McGregor's out of gas in 7 minutes every
Not like
fight.
this. I mean,
no?
Not like this. I mean, maybe against Khabib he was, because it's Khabib. But like not normally. Like she quit because she was out of gas. Now Pena's story is that Damian Maia taught her some sort of fucking technique where she's like putting this part of the bone of her wrist on Amanda's trachea or something, and that was a pain choke. No, Amanda was tuckered out. Like she was breathing so heavily and her nose wasn't working anymore.
It's not her night. Yeah.
Nope.
Chael Sonnen talks about that all the time. He's like, people make you I think Chael Sonnen's half full of shit. But he's like, the rear naked choke is not an effective choke. You would think it is because people win with it all the time. But what's really happening is they're giving up their necks and they're tapping out because they realize this isn't going to get any better from here. That's not, the rear naked choke is the most effective choke. But I do think he's onto something with this idea that, like, could I have fought harder? Yes. What would that have given me? More of what was just happening.
Longer recovery,
more beating, cut over the eye. Like
it was beautiful though, and I like Pena more as champion. She's hot, and English is her native language, and those are things I like in my champions, male and female.
Charles. Oh, someone wrote me, by the way. Charles Olivier is the 155-pound champ, and I was calling him Cal. Is it Olivier? How close am I on that? Anyway, I called him Oliveira. There is another Oliveira called Cowboy Oliveira, and I had conflated them.
Oh, maybe I just did the same thing. Well, Cowboy Oliveira, it's pronounced Oliveira. And now, because you just did this to me, I have no idea who the champion at 155 pounds is.
I brought him up because he doesn't speak English, and that is I don't want him to be champ for that reason. I don't. Your English doesn't even have to be good. It might be funnier if it's not. Like, I'm cool with it. Yeah. But if you don't speak English at all,
you won't even try. Like, try a little. I like when the Russians get up there and somebody's clearly like gotten on Google and figured out enough Russian to say, or English to say, like, good fight, give me better next time. like you get that out, and it's like, dude, he's trying his fucking heart out.
I'm down. I saw Khabib so when Khabib talks to other people, it seems like he's talking down to him. He kind of lectures.
Yeah.
And he's like, you work English. It's important. English is important to fighting. Learn, study English. And it's like, you know what? He's not wrong. You want to get higher? You want to get on the main card? You either have to win every fight or win a bunch and speak English.
Yep. Or win a few and speak English well.
Yeah.
The better your English is, the worse your fighting can be.
Yes.
Like if you've got a guy who can really talk some shit, he can pull an Andy Kaufman and walk in off the street and be like, you're a professional athlete, huh? Well, you know what? I'm an accountant, pussy, and you won't fight me. Look at you running away, just like a bitch. Like the next thing you know, you can talk your way into getting the shit beaten out of you for a lot of money.